Hello, everyone. Russ of Aquarimax here with Peter Clausen from Bugs in Cyberspace and Sky Island Adventures. We decided to do this kind of spur of the moment, and so we're excited to see you here. And we are going to kind of introduce Sky Island Adventures for those of you who haven't heard about it, and kind of refresh your memory a little bit and give you some more details for those of you who have already heard a little bit about it. So, Peter, I think a lot of people know you from Bugs in Cyberspace, of course, but Sky Island Adventures is kind of a newer thing. So can you kind of introduce that to us?
Sure. And thank you for the opportunity, Russ. It was totally short notice, but like I said, that's an adventure that I wanted to take today. So thank you very much for the invite.
Yeah, no problem.
I moved down here last May, and I had been visiting Arizona for many, many years, and always coming down here because the best bugs in the United States were here. And at some point I decided just, about a year ago that I actually wanted to move down here to be closer to all of this. And through the process of looking at properties, I had noticed that some of them have guest houses. And, being in social media and having my website up now for 25 years, I just had this flash at some point where I thought, okay, I could have a guest house and I could invite people to come down because they'd seen me in my videos out adventuring with my friends, and lots of people had asked, well, I'd love to join you sometime. And so that basically birthed the idea of opening the guest house up and having people come down, and then we take them out for both the daytime and the nighttime adventures here in the Sky Islands, which I live in a city called Sonoita here in Arizona, southern Arizona, very close to the border of Mexico. And we are surrounded by Sky Islands all around us, which are mountain ranges here in this lower latitude of the United States. Very warm and sunny down here. Everybody thinks of Arizona as being this really sunny place. But as Russ saw during his time down here with us, and he made 3 great videos, which you guys should all watch about his time with us here. And I really appreciated that, Russ. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Using those to promote the business so that people have an understanding for what it's all about. But it was raining. He was down here during the most epic monsoon season that Arizona has seen in like a century or something. And it was very wet. But still plenty of opportunities between the rainstorms to go out and look for bugs. And we found a lot of great stuff.
Oh, we did indeed. I look forward to coming the next time. I'm super excited for it. It was mind-blowing for me to see all the things that we saw. And this was, in the midst of this monsoon season, I was still completely blown away by the things we saw.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
And the black lighting at night is, half of the adventure every day. And so the way that we're setting the business up is people will fly into the Tucson airport, and if they need a ride, we'll go and pick them up and bring them back here. Got the guest house. It's pretty much just a 2-night thing. I only have 1 guest house this year. I'm going to open up a second one the next year. But for this year, it's kind of a practice year in a lot of ways. I mean, we've been doing this a long time in terms of what we like and going out there ourselves. And like, it's pretty crazy, really. Are you still there, Russ?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Rookie mistake. You put me on widescreen by myself, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. I wasn't ready for that. I don't do this.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. So we get people, we're going to get people out into the field per their own comfort level. That's something that's really important in us accommodating a variety of guests, is making sure that, we're, for the people that just want to be out the whole time, we'll get them out. A little bit of sleep is important too, but also, if you just kind of want to take it easy and do a little bit of light hiking, or, just kind of walk up to the edges and stuff and not necessarily jump in, that's just fine too. So the Sky Islands here are the most biodiverse areas of the United States. All the sun down here, they're up at elevation. So many plants up there. There's water up there. And because of all the solar energy down here in Sonoyta, we've got, I think, 284 days of sun per year. And of course, there's places within an hour driving distance of us where it's much warmer. We're up at 5,000 feet right here in elevation. So our average daytime highs are about 91 degrees in our 2 hottest months. And today, I think we're at 63 degrees here in late February. And we're going up into the 70s here next week. Chillier at night, very comfortable for sleeping, very comfortable during the day. So that's pretty much what it is. We're just gonna get people out there to see the bugs that Russ featured in his 3 videos. And he was down here for a couple days. We saw a lot more than what he put in the videos. And there's just no shortage of things to see.
Yeah, it was challenging to figure out how much I could fit into the videos and looking through the best footage I got and so on. But it's so incredible. I spend a lot of time going out flipping rocks, going to the north, I guess it's the northeastern tip of the Mojave Desert that's in my state. Mm-hmm. And I see some cool stuff, but I saw more in those couple of days that I was there. I arrived on a Thursday and we spent most of the day Thursday looking for things. And I was there Friday and Saturday and then left Sunday morning. And in those essentially 3 days, I saw more than I have in years here in my state. So it was absolutely
my first trip down to this area, I was coming from Oregon. And I would argue that Utah, where you live, has better bugs, especially in the southern portion of the state. Especially in terms of the things that people where you and I both have our roots in the pet bug hobby would want to see. And so I knew I wanted to leave Oregon just because of the cost of living up there. I was like, I can live a better life somewhere in terms of, comfort and cost of living. And I kept thinking, well, how far is that to Arizona? I didn't think I could run my pet bug shipping business out of this hot state. But as it turns out, not all parts of Arizona are really, really hot. And this just happens to be the best location, in my opinion, for accessing where all the great bugs are, which of course is where I needed to live all along.
Exactly. And I love that the elevation that you're at makes for a milder climate where you are, but it's so easy to get to all the other places where.
And we get 20 inches of rain every year too, which is a pretty big deal here in terms of developing the property in the way that I want to. I've got rainwater catchment systems set up now, and I'm building some additional ones as well. So we're going to harvest a lot of rainwater here, and we've got 2 greenhouses coming in here real soon. We're going to put them up in mid-March and grow all kinds of native plants to landscape with. And then for the guest house, I got to learn how to cook, because it's the subtitle is bed bug and breakfast. And so I'm going to start growing vegetables and things in those 2 greenhouses as well, so that we can really develop a sustainable property here. And,
awesome.
It's a cool thing to do. It's kind of a long-term project, but we've already got some of the first foundational steps well along the way, and I'm having a lot of fun doing that.
Oh yeah. I think that's a great idea to get not only the native landscape plants going on, but you get some sustainable fresh veggies and stuff going on as well. Can't beat that.
There's a lot of plants that are specifically going to attract bugs out here.
Right.
Sorry if I look away every once in a while. It's bird season is just starting here, and so I'm easily distracted. There are a lot of birds of prey here in the winter months. You didn't see them when you were here in the summertime, I don't think, but they're just all over the place. I got some great footage of some this morning that I was going to post on the Sky Islands Instagram account, but I got busy putting the finishing touches on the new bar for the guest house with my dad. And maybe in a minute, if the connection will allow it, we'll walk out there and see if we can take a peek at all that.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we should try that. And that's one thing that people should know too, that not only are you in the place to see the best bugs in the country, but it's a famous area for birding. It's a famous area for herping too. So reptiles, amphibians. We saw a lot of amphibians. It only saw a couple of reptiles when we were there. I think I saw 2 or 3 lizards, but we saw various species of toads and in various stages of development when we were down there, and quite a few birds too. So great place to go for that.
Yeah, being a bug guy, I've always there's always bugs are like instant gratification no matter where you go. You know, even up in Portland, I was able to find cool bugs if it was sunny outside, or at night. You know, there's millipedes and isopods and things like that. It's always raining, so
Yeah.
have to contend with that. But down here, I'm definitely developing an appreciation for birds and reptiles. I think I see at least 4 species of lizards just in the yard here. Jesse saw a horny toad in the yard,
Nice.
too. And I want to mention my buddy Jesse from Shapes in Nature, who was kind enough to move down at the same time as me. He and his fiance Courtney stayed in my guest house for like the first month or so that they were down here. And so they moved their lives down here too, because he was a part of the Sky Island Adventures dream too. And he is really, really excited, and his personality is so suited to taking people out on these adventures, and he's gonna help me build this business, and I'm very grateful for that. And you, of course, got to spend time with Jesse, and he's a lot of fun.
He is. I had a ball with all of you guys down there, and it was just, I think in one of the videos that you made about when I was down there, it just, you can't tell exactly why it happened, but it just had me just busting up laughing. I could not
I know
stop.
why. Oh, you're saying I can't tell because I can't tell.
Well, you can tell, but you just can't tell in the video exactly
right.
why, because the sound is cut.
It was cut on purpose because of Jesse's colorful language.
Yes.
He had been bitten by a mosquito for like, who knows how many times. And yeah, he had an artful way of describing it that made you and I laugh, because both, like swearing is always a little bit funny, even though it's not family friendly for YouTube or whatever. It's always funny, and especially when there are other colorful words added to it also. So nobody likes to be bitten by mosquitoes, but we all kind of have fun when he's bitten.
He crafted the most colorful thing that I had heard in weeks, and it just set me off, and I couldn't stop laughing
he makes me laugh like all day, every day when he's here working with me for Bugs in Cyberspace. And I just can't wait to start Sky Island Adventures with him. Probably though, the first year, we're going to, because if we're taking people out from the morning until late at night, we're going to sort of divide and conquer. He's going to take the day shift, I'm going to take the night shift, more than likely, just because having us both out there, he works for the business. I work for the business in a sense too, but he's paid, and so I would have to charge the guests a lot of money to keep Jesse there for 16 hours every day.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. And then
there's a lot of logistical things that factor into all of it. And so I'm really looking forward to year number 2, when we can open up the second guest house, and then maybe a third one. And then, in my dream of dreams, we got a van load of people that are coming out. And it's just a big thing for more than 2 nights. People can stay longer than that, maybe 5 nights or 7 nights or something like that. And, we just go out there, we hit some of the different Sky Islands. This first year, we're going to spend most of our time up at the Santa Ritas, which you can see out the window here. Because, we're about, 8 minutes from the turn, and then another 30 minutes to the black lighting location from here. So very convenient in that way. And it's a whole mountain range. You can easily spend, 2 days and 2 nights, very different parts of it, and find different kinds of things. So
yeah, that the blacklighting was an incredible experience for me. I had done, a little bit with blacklighting with scorpions and whatnot in the past, but that was totally different experience when you set up the sheets. And I had seen some videos of you doing it too, but just being there in person and seeing the amazing profusion of all different kinds of insects, many of which I'd never seen before in my life, was just fantastic.
It's like that literally every night I go out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've only done it so many times in my life too, even though it's still a lot. But the biodiversity up there, it's thousands and thousands of species, and it changes from week to week. And different hours of the night, different things come out as well. And so, it's just, you never know what wild cards are going to show up on any given night. And it's like, you could do this your whole life and never get bored of it if you like insects, if you're a generalist, especially.
Yeah. And that's, I remember seeing the differences, as you were mentioning, over time, just within one night. When we set up the first blacklighting station, and then we went out on a couple of forays and found some scorpions, and we were looking for those, the chrysalis of that particular moth and so on. And we'd circle back. And then when we'd circle back, some of the bugs were still there, but a lot of them had changed. And it would just keep doing that throughout the night. It was fascinating.
Yeah. And as the night goes on, the accumulation from the things that came in early, middle, late, it just builds up. And eventually that sheet, it's like, there's more insect on it than white space behind the sheet. And it's great. I love it.
Oh yeah, it is. I keep thinking of the term mind blowing because that's the closest thing I can come to. I need to think of something else, but it applies.
It's overwhelming. I've had people come down who were, they weren't going to jump in with both feet. They're just kind of dipping their toes in it because they're not really sure. And we'll be happy to accommodate people if they do get over a lot of stuff flying to the sheet. And especially if you're wearing a headlamp, stuff will fly to you also. But there is enough light there that most of the time you can turn your headlamp off. And I don't think during your time there, were you wearing earplugs? Did you get bugs in your ears?
Not that I remember.
Did you eat any?
Maybe one. I think maybe ate one.
So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff moving around there. So you just stand a few paces back and let it do what it's going to do. But for me and Jesse, we're just leaning in and getting as close as we can and taking pictures and stuff. And teaching people about what's on the sheet.
Exactly. That I had a lot of fun with that, and you'd point out an insect and say, "Oh, this is what this one is," and a lot of them I didn't know. And this one is from this family, and look, here's another one from the same family, but this is a different genus. And it was fascinating to just see all that going on.
Yeah. One thing that I'm really looking forward to is having that time in the field, being forced in the sense of me running a business now. I'm going to be there. I'm going to have that Seek app out, by iNaturalist. Do you have the Seek app now installed?
Not yet. I don't.
It's a great app. All you do is put it over pretty much any organism on the planet, and it will take the picture of the organism and identify it for you. So it's a wonderful tool to help me learn and then pass that knowledge on to other people. But I know that there are going to be some people coming down who are specialists in particular families like Hymenoptera, for example, and I'm going to learn so much about the insects down here because, I've always been a generalist. I started out with a pinned insect collection when I was a kid. And, I've always been interested in the total variety of things, no one specific family, even though there are pet bug groups, of course, that are more popular. And so it might look that I'm really into mantises or really into beetles or something like that. I just like seeing it all. And this place, even my yard down here during bug season, constantly finding things that, I wasn't sure if they were going to be in this part of Arizona or not, and then they show up, and I love documenting them. And also the birds. I'm taking pictures of every new bird that I see because I want to keep a list of what shows up here in the property over time. That'll be a lot of fun for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love being able to do that. I'm going to have to get this app. I don't know why I don't have it already. So it's called Seek.
Yep. SEEK. And
Cool.
I think iNaturalist made it. It's connected to iNaturalist somehow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to do that.
It's really great. I was able to identify, and you can't always identify everything to species just because, the software is amazing in what it will recognize. For most any insect, you can definitely get it to family. Often genus, and then I don't know, I feel like 50% of the time I can get it to species if it's not something that's like super obscure. By this point in time, most things have been identified and most things have been photographed on Bug Guide and iNaturalist and iNaturalist's Seek app. And so it does really well. Every once in a while, I'll get it to family or genus, and then using locality data, the general location on another resource like Bug Guide or iNaturalist, I can then narrow it down to species because my photograph or the lighting or something wasn't good enough. And you can, it's just one more tool in the bag to figure out what things are. And it's very helpful in that regard.
Okay, cool. I'm going to have to do that. I don't know why I don't have that on there already. I have a couple of questions are showing up. I wanted to ask you, are you able to see on your phone the questions showing up here?
I do see one from Dan Berard.
Okay. This is more of a comment, but just about, for those of you who are just listening, because we have a lot of people who just listen later, he's saying that the education behind each insect is great. It was fantastic to hear in background on Russ's video. So a lot of the footage in the videos, Peter is talking about what you're seeing on camera. And that's what Dan is talking about. So I really enjoyed that Peter would be educating me on whatever we were looking at. And I wanted to pass that along to you. So those were some of my favorite bits that I made sure to include as many of those as possible in the video. So that's something you'll get when you're down here if you come. And let's see. I don't have my glasses on, but Goki saying, is there any estimate on the rates of a visit?
Thank you very much for that question, Goki, because I hadn't touched on yet the fact that I'm opening booking up for this finally. I originally planned to open it up, I think, last summer, but moving my life and my business down here, and then being distracted by all the great bugs all summer long, I was like, no, not yet, not yet. Putting it off. We are opening booking here on Sunday. For those of you who don't already know, the my bugsandcyberspace.com website, I have a page on there. It's hard not to find at this point because I have messages all over the website about how to find it. But you can go there and get on a notification list here for the next couple days, and I will send you an email out when booking opens. I don't know for sure, but I have a strong suspicion that the summer months are going to go very quickly for a couple reasons. Number one, we have more than, last time I checked, we had 108 people that were on the notification list. And because this is the first year and we're sort of leaning into this gently, I'm only doing one person per week and only 3 weeks per month during probably April, May, June, July, August, September. So for the month of July, we can only accommodate, one party of people. So that's right. 3 people each month, which means if there were really 108 people, which, a lot of people they hadn't seen the rates yet and everything like that. They are probably not going to pull the trigger, but a lot of people are going to pull the trigger, and we're going to be busy because I already have a couple other businesses that I run, but but I want to do this because it's going to be so much fun. So only in the last couple days, and I've been working with a guy to set up the booking software, which should be ready either today or tomorrow, but I'm not going to open it up for booking until Sunday because I need to kick out that email out of a sense of fairness for all the people that signed up. And it'll be a scramble for those people to get there first. And I'll tell you right now in the live stream here that the best months are, well, probably the last week of June is good, all of July, all of August, all of September, and then everything on either side of that is still good. But those are the monsoon season. That's when the rain comes. That's when everything turns green. That's when all the bugs come out. That's when all the predators come out. And those are the weeks that are going to be competitive. I really, really want to get some experience with running this business without overwhelming myself this year, and then blow it out of the water next year and offer more people to come down, more accommodations and things like that. So it's a test year, and Russ was one of the first and people to come down and let us practice on him last year, and it was fun and it was comfortable, and we had a great time, and we just can't wait to kick this off here real soon. You asked about the pricing more specifically. It has also come to my awareness here as I've been planning this, and most recently, that in order to make a little bit of profit on all of this, I cannot accommodate just one guest this year. So that's something that up until like 2 days ago, I hadn't even really processed. Everything I've ever built, I've built slowly. You know, my website, quitting my day job, everything has happened very slowly, and I just kind of lean gently into things. And so I just realized that if I allow one person to book at my guest house, then it's going to be very difficult to be profitable. So I'm having a 2 guest minimum, and I'm sorry to do that, but it's just not feasible to do it any other way. And the cost is going to be $800 for 2 people. If you're staying two nights, that's basically $200 per day night per person. So, you know, if you were staying at a hotel, for example, and you paid $200 for that, you're not going to get the other 16 hours of fun that we're going to put out for you. I personally think that price is just for this year, and it's going to have to go up unless we can get enough people coming down and you know, basically get, you know, a group of people going out at once to where, you know, because there are base costs, all kinds of base costs, like the food, like the gas, like, you know, me paying an employee to take people out for part of the day, the hourly wage. I mean, I'm not even factoring in how much money I spent on a lot of things to get this set up. So that's what the number is for this year. And the website, the booking is going to be up again on Sunday. And so I'll probably post a version of that here in the next day or two, probably tomorrow, so that you can get a preview for that. And then it'll say something like, you know, come back on Sunday and, you know, good luck.
So I put a link down here at the bottom that's just been scrolling to the Skylight Adventures. Is that where you want people to go for now, right?
Yep, that'll work.
Go. Okay,
yep.
Great. Excellent. Oh, and Dan is saying, very common for eco lodges to increase costs for single occupancy in a double room, and worth it.
Yeah. So, well, the other thing, you know, if like I said, it's really $200 per person per day night, and if you bring a third person, it's only an extra $99 for that person. So then that all is $900. It goes down to $300 per person. $250 per person if you're a family of 4, and we're happy to accommodate children. I haven't really worked out my terms and conditions for, you know, what I'm going to say about, you know, like, I don't know about babies. I don't know about, you know, infants, toddlers. not so much because Jesse and I don't love them. I've raised 3 kids of my own, but because I think it might affect the experience of a parent if they're really into bugs and everything, and then something's not working out, because children aren't always as interested in what their parents are doing. But so I haven't really wrapped my mind around that. I'm probably going to keep it loose. I'm one of those people that likes to learn things the hard way. And so I'm probably not going to write terms and conditions or recommendations or suggestions about it. Probably just going to jump in and then think, okay, well, I learned something there, and type out a couple sentences for next time.
Well, that's the way I usually do it too. That's how I've done a lot of things. Just try it and see. You jump and you see.
Well, that's parenting in general.
Yeah, very true. Because you don't really have any other choice with that. Let's see. Looking through, I know I'm missing chat, and sorry if I'm missing your questions, everybody. Just keep them coming, and if you have to repeat a question, that's fine. That's okay. Now this is related to bugs, not so much to Skyline Adventures, but I think we'll let it go. Could you chime in on this, Peter? Do you think?
Yeah, sure. Stag beetles as adults are very easy to care for. You just feed them either sugary liquids or apple or banana, peaches, jellies, insect jellies, beetle jellies. As larvae, they're also fairly easy. They're just going to eat the flake soil, decaying wood. We have a new kimchi product on the website, which we haven't tested out with the stag beetles yet. Normally, the word kimchi applies specifically to the hobby of mainly raising stag beetles, putting the beetle larva in this kimchi, which is an oak sawdust base, and then you inoculate it with mushroom spore and the fungal roots, the mycelia. They grow through that, and it's a very nutritious food source for the stag beetles, makes them grow very large. But most people here in the United States just feed them with standard oak flake soil. And the difficulty with stag beetles is, not for everybody. There's a few people that have done it real well sometimes, but then a year or two later they struggle, and then they do well again. I hate to use the word luck, but getting the females, having the right kind of oak logs for them to oviposit in or near can be difficult. The stag beetle hobby here in the United States has never really taken off, just because there are so few suppliers, and like the bug hobbies in general, there's only so much demand, and so there's only so many suppliers. And stag beetles are more difficult than the dynasties, rhino beetles, and various other kinds of, like the harlequin flower scarabs that are in the hobby, and certainly much more difficult than desert beetles, which don't always reproduce as well in captivity, but are very long lived. And so if I were going to make a recommendation to you, the PC brothers, I would say that if you like beetles, you might start out with the desert beetles. Russ has a lot of really great videos about how to care for them. They're very active in the tanks, easy to care for, and long lived. And so those are my recommendations as far as beetles go. If you want to experience the whole beetle larvae thing, start out with the rhino beetles, Dynastes tidius, the eastern Hercules beetle. I've usually got them available on the website, and that would be a great one to start out with. I would say most people have success when they buy larvae getting them to adults. It often takes people longer than they expect for them to reach maturity and become adult beetles. So stag beetle as a pet, great. Stag beetle as a breeding project, difficult. That's the answer.
Yeah, that makes sense. I tried with the Pseudolucanus mazama, I guess it is, the cottonwood stag beetles that I can collect here.
Right.
And I done a couple of videos on them. Was it July of 2020? I collected some and got them to lay eggs in some flake soil I tried to make myself. And I got larvae out of them. The larvae got really big, but the adults, I did have some adultsy clothes, but none of them were very impressive. And I think I
Your
wasn't
original
using.
wild caught adults were larger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The original wild caught adults were larger. I got all females, and they were fairly small females. So, and I didn't get very many. I think I got 4,
Mm-hmm.
three or 4 of them. But I was thinking that with your Kinshi product, I'd probably get much better results. So
I would be curious to know how it works out, and
yeah.
if you get them again,
Mhm.
and assuming that I'm able to source the Kinshi here long term, I'll send you a big bag of it up to try it with. I really need that kind of feedback to know whether it works for stag beetles or not. I only started carrying the product about, I don't know, a month ago, and I haven't myself been able to source stag beetles since then. So I'm going to be going out here about 15 minutes down the road to get some of those cotton stag beetles also, and trying them out with it here this coming season too.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. And I will try it out too. I'm excited to try it. For those of you who don't know, the Kinshi product Peter recently put on his website, like he was saying, he sent me some to try out, and I'm starting to try it out. I'm really excited to see where it goes. I've been feeding it off to millipedes, and I'm getting good feeding responses, which is not a surprise. Isopods, and even put it in with my desert beetles to see what they think, and they're chewing on it too. So it looks like it's going to be a good food for a lot of different critters.
Yeah, it's really convenient too. It just stores in the fridge, and as long as you have a reasonable number of insects in there, they're skimming the top off of it all the time. So the mushrooms aren't sprouting out of it, which causes, when the mushroom sprouts, you should probably pick those off because they will grow and deplete the nutritional value of the Kinshi block.
Right.
So pull those mushrooms off. Although millipedes will generally eat the mushrooms.
Do that for you.
Yeah, before you can get to them anyway. They'll start nibbling at them or prevent their growth in the first place.
Right, and I bet the isopods will do similarly.
Yeah, I have found it to be a very useful food for me to put into my isopod tanks because they'll nibble at it. They don't make it disappear like the diabolical ironclad beetles do, for example. Like they just chow it down so fast compared to the isopods. But I definitely think that the wood content in it, as well as the mushrooms, is a great and nutritional food source for them. But I don't know how voraciously they feed on it, and so I'm very excited to see what your results are with that, because you have a lot more experience comparing a real variety of foods in terms of palatability for the isopods. So I'm excited to see your results.
Yeah, I'll do a taste test with some of the isopods that are good to eat on camera, and then I'll do it with some other more secretive ones too, and we'll just see what we get. It'll be fun to post a video on that and let you know what goes on.
Yeah, thank you.
So Ying has a question about flake soil. Which wood would you recommend for it? Oak, maple, something else?
Well, oak is is pretty much the go-to flake soil. It doesn't really matter too much. It matters more the level of decay of the wood than anything else. If it's too hard, if you can't use raw wood. Like I see a lot of people going and getting the Traeger pellets and rehydrating them. That's raw wood. There has to be a process of that raw wood breaking down, and that can take months.
Right.
Even if you're fermenting it with flour and heat and things like that. But the best thing you can do is either buy flake soil or go out and collect hardwoods. The species doesn't matter. Oak is fine, beech, maple. Oak is a hardwood. Maple is a soft hardwood. So the oak will take longer to decay. If you went out and collect, had access to an oak tree or something and you cut it down, which you shouldn't ever have to do, but you'd have to leave it laying outside for like 3 years probably for it to get to a point in a wettish climate, for it to get to a point of decay where it's going to be ready for your consumers. So as long as it's properly decayed, the maple will decay more quickly, I think. but either one is fine. If you can take the wood and crumble it in your hand, you don't want it to be like, you want it to be a little bit heavy, to have some moisture content in it from the original living tree. If it's too dry, it's kind of like when you're choosing a log for a fire. If you put a super lightweight log in there with very little, it's just super light, it's going to burn super quickly. There's a saying that goes with it, but it's not coming to my mind. If you put a heavy log in there, it's going to burn for a lot longer. You want something kind of in the middle of those two things. You don't want it to like come apart in your hand too easily, because that means that most of the nutritional value of it is probably gone, processed by fungi and things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay, about Sky Island Adventures again. Can two guests from different parts of the country book for the same time slot, or would flights arrive at different times of the day be problematic?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and I'm still kind of trying to wrap my mind around how it's going to work logistically for people in that situation. The short answer is yes. I'm probably going to charge an extra fee for airport pickup and drop off. But a lot of people are going to be driving out here, because a lot of my customer base, and I know this from people asking me questions already, who live in Arizona or up in Utah or California or Texas. They're like, well, can we just drive out? Or if you fly in to, it's cheaper to fly into Phoenix than it is to Tucson, but I'm not driving all the way to Phoenix. Sorry. It's 2.5 hours. That's 5 hours of driving each way. And we're already stretching ourselves a little thin on the pricing. So you have a couple options, and I'll communicate with people about this if they want to email and write. But to answer this question, totally possible. You will have to probably work with me to figure out how we're going to make this work, because I don't want to drive up to Tucson, pick up the one guest, and then drive back later that day to pick up the second guest, for the guest house for that day. So someone waits at the airport a little longer, or you guys rent a car and come down. Those are probably the only options, but I'm going to wrap my mind around it. And in future years, when this is a larger scale operation, where I might be running a van out with 12 people in it or something, we'll be able to coordinate it a little bit better, or there will be more money into the mix, I guess you could say, to where we can run someone up to the airport a couple times during the day, because it'll be logistically and financially possible to pay somebody to make that run to pick guests up. Well, probably what we would do, honestly, is have like 2 pickup times during the day. You just hang out at the airport. There's a 2 o'clock pickup and a 5 o'clock pickup, or something like that.
Something like that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Good question. Thank you. Someone asked me a question about something I haven't thought about at all yet.
Here is one, the most unexpected animal you've seen in your yard so far.
It's hard to say what's unexpected. I have only once seen javelina come through the yard. No, actually twice, I guess. Unexpected in the sense of I moved down here in May, and it was July or August when the javelina came through. And for people that don't know, it looks like this big giant hairy pig. They're not giant like the ones in the southeast, like that weigh like 700 pounds or whatever. But I don't know. They probably weigh like up to 125 or 150 pounds. Not even really sure. The males are bigger and fuzzier looking, and they're kind of rectangular shaped, like the Jawa sandcrawler from Star Wars. Just you remember that, Russ? It's just a weird, like coming from Oregon like I do, to see it, and it's prehistoric looking. They're just such cool animals to see in person and to see in your yard. So for me, just looking out the window that one morning and seeing the 2 of them just hanging out over there. Now, we set trail cams up around the property too.
Oh, awesome.
So we've seen a lot of cool things. We saw something called a hooded skunk, which I don't know what their range is. I think there's 4 skunks in this area. And we only set the trail cams up a couple times, because It takes a lot of time to like go through the footage because there's so much stuff moving around. Otherwise, there's a lot of deer. There's a lot of white-tailed deer and I guess mule deer in the area. And so they're coming through here in the mornings and setting the camera off like, you know, every couple of seconds. And so you got to look through a lot of stuff. My dad actually did that for me. My parents have been staying down here for the last few months. And by the way, my dad has a YouTube channel called JC Travel Stories, where he's documented a lot of the projects we've been working on here on the property. They live down in Mexico. And my dad has a YouTube channel about retiring in Mexico. And then also the other half of the year, they live in Arizona, usually over in the West around Yuma and that sort of area where it's warm during the winters. And he has the other half of his year of YouTube videos is about the RV life. So, but he's super handy and he's been helping me out a lot. As far as bugs, seeing that first Chrysina gloriosa metallic green jewel beetle in the yard, that was really, really special. And I've got a velvet ash tree in the yard, and I'm hoping one of these years I'm going to see a Dynasties Granti rhino beetle show up, because you know, in the mountain that I see right there, you can see him. Patagonia, which is 15 minutes down the road here, you can see him. So I think I'm going to see one fly in someday. And that's going to be a big deal. I'm going to plant more velvet ash and see if I can make it happen soon.
Yeah, get them to come in. And it's I got to see some of those beetles, the Chrysinas and the peccary or the javelina when I was down there, and those were two on my long list of things I was hoping to see. I got to cross a lot of things off that list, and those were two of them. So
Coatamundi are another really cool animal that we see down here. I know they're coming through the yard. I haven't seen one yet, but I know they're here because neighbors have told me that they see them sometimes.
Okay, so they're probably around then.
Yeah, and lots of lizards. Lots of lizards. Alligator lizards. I don't know all my lizards yet, but you know, like blue-bellied skink-looking lizards, and I can't remember the names of them. I was starting to learn the names. What I do is I take pictures of things or video of things and I post it on my Sky Island Adventures Instagram account, and then people tell me what they are. But I need to do that repetitively enough times to where it sinks in.
That makes sense.
That and the sea cap.
What was that? The sea cap. Yeah,
the sea cap.
The sea cap. Yeah. So Invertebrate Dude has a question. Do you ever see camel cricket species?
I'm trying to hire Tristan to come down here and work for me, but he's running off to the other side of the country to start his own business.
Well,
I'm not done working on him yet.
You never know.
Nobody buy anything from him, so he has to come work for us. Sorry, Tristan. Camel crickets. Do we see camel crickets? I have seen some camel crickets. I was just scrolling through videos that I had taken the other day, and I came across some camel cricket footage. I take videos all day, every day. I just never post anything. I mean, I do, but it's not like even of the smallest percentage of what I'm taking videos of every day. We do see camel crickets. I got to be careful. I was going to say even better than that, but you're asking about camel crickets, not katydids. I see a number of different predatory katydid species here in the yard. Can't remember the genus. You'll probably rattle it off. Starts with a P, P-E-L. I can't remember, but they are very common. They're one of the first bugs to come out. Then also the big spiky ones, Capnobates, see those too, as well as other kinds of green katydids, various species of those, including the thread-legged ones. Very cool. Oh, hey, Ian. Yep, I recognize Ian. Yeah, definitely hope to see you next year. That would be great.
Oh yeah,
that's cool how you can pop that up on the screen. This is
That's one benefit of the StreamYard live stream
Yeah.
is that you can play with that. And the after is a tempting one. Yeah, that's like that would be hard to turn down.
Well, you can't say no forever. Because someone else is. I actually had another person ask if we were hiring yet, and and it was a woman, and I said we'd love to have a woman on staff, just for the comfort levels of people who would prefer that. And she's great, and she has a really cool Instagram account. So
cool.
We'll see where that goes. Jesse and I are going to bust this out here the first year, and hopefully expand it.
Yeah. I think that's such a great idea to get a few different guest houses going, and then you can have like a whole tour together, and it allows people to some of those costs defray some of the costs to some extent, and so on. It seems like a great idea.
Yep.
And we had a lot of fun when we were out with several people. Just when we did the black lighting the first night, there was a pretty big group we had, and it worked great. It was fun to just interact with everybody. So
that's always part of the thing. I know other people down here, and I know a lot of people who are coming down here during particular times. I missed out on a lot of cool people that came out this last year. I know Kyle from Roach Crossing came out at one point, and his buddy had reached out to me and said they were going to be in the area. But I think we already had guests. I think Jaden and Hercules were staying in the guest house at that time, that they were going to be around. Or maybe Jesse and Aaron and I were going to New Mexico that week. I can't remember. And it would have been nice to meet them, but there are always a bunch of people coming down. And I'm a little nervous about starting this business in the sense of the things that I'm going to miss out on, in terms of being able to freely hook up with random people who are coming down to spend time in the field with them, including many experts. Aaron's very good friends with Dan Duran, who's an awesome tiger beetle expert. And I almost hooked up with them a couple times last year, but we had a couple of near misses, unfortunately. There was one time that John, you remember John Skierski and I were out in the field. We drove out to a great tiger beetle area, and we were waiting for them. But then, like, all of a sudden it started raining, and they weren't there yet, and we had to cancel it. So we didn't get to meet them. So
yeah, I guess things like that are going to happen, but a lot of times it seems to work out really perfectly.
Yeah,
I was able to, when we got to meet with Aaron and Kristen, and she just happened to be there when we got to see the bats, and she was able to explain all about the bats and everything. So things like that, this worked out perfectly.
Awesome. It's a great opportunity to learn from each other. And I know that there's going, like I said earlier, going to be some specialists that come down, and I'm just going to soak it up, and I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's great opportunities for everybody to learn. That's one of the greatest things about it. You're doing a lot of learning and sharing, no matter what you're into, and with in the realm of arthropods. So very cool.
And there's so much down here. No one person can know everything. Right.
Looks like Goki is going to be interested in doing some macro photography there, which is it's an excellent opportunity for that, for sure.
Definitely, especially at the black light sheets at night. There's just not enough time in a day to take a picture of everything that comes to the sheet.
Yeah, I remember filling up my phone every day and then dumping it onto my iPad and emptying it off and going again, and still not having as much space as I would have liked to have.
Yep, that's pretty much the story of my life every day.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to come back. I talk about it all the time. I probably tire people out here at home talking about it.
Are you going to bring everyone down?
I'm hoping to bring some folks down. Yeah, I think that would be great. Trying to figure out logistics and everything, but I think I think my wife would like to come down and see.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we're gonna make it work at some point. We'll need to talk
Yeah.
more about when would be a good time and all that. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, another thing I'd like to mention is that it's basically a 2-night requirement, and we're giving people the choice between Thursday and Friday night or Friday and Saturday night. But you, Russ, you come down the rest of the time. You know, we're running our other business and everything, but you're practically family at this point. So anytime you want.
Well, I appreciate that. I really felt at home when I was there with you guys and just had the time of my life. So
you were sleeping on the floor. We got bed now.
yeah, and I didn't even worry about it. And I didn't even sleep that much. You know, and I was fine with it, because one thing I really appreciated is right when I got there, we were driving from the airport, and Peter said, "Do you want more of an adventure or more of a vacation?" And of course, I said, "I want more of the adventure."
Yeah,
and that's exactly what I got. Exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we can't wait to do it again with you and everybody else. And yeah, just can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
It is. I'm really excited, and I'm glad we had some people come in and watch. I'm sure we're going to get some people watching the replay as well, and learn more about this. And they just need to go to this the website, bugsandcyberspace.com, Sky Island Adventures, and you're going to open on Sunday.
Yep, booking opens on Sunday, and I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know how quickly it's going to book up. I don't know if anybody's going to pull the trigger. They'd be crazy if they didn't.
True.
But you know, the worst case scenario for me is that someone doesn't come down. I'm going out anyway.
Yeah. There you go. But I'm confident this is going to work. This is the coolest thing ever. How could people not want to do this?
Well, thank you for saying that, and thanks again for being one of the first guests and for documenting it the way you did, because that's my promo video for the page.
Well, I was delighted to do it, and every time I look at that video, it just brings me back. So so much fun.
Well, come on back.
I will. And thank you for joining us. This has been a fun and spontaneous way to get this, help launch Sky Island Adventures. So thanks a lot, Peter.
Thank you, and see everybody in Arizona.
Yeah, I can't wait till I get back. I keep saying that just because it's true.
Send me a message.
I will.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Russ.
See you, Peter.